Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to FireTalk, where we take a look at what's happening in the world of Southeastern University athletics. I'm your host, Ken Ingle, president of Southeastern University. I have a great co-host and director of athletics, Drew Watson. Drew, it's great to have you here with us again today.
Great to be here.
Did you have a great Easter weekend?
I had a great Easter. It was went to church, kind of relaxed, and watched the Masters.
Which kind of was a weird weekend, wasn't it?
It was. The trees fell on the course.
Yeah.
And played 30 holes Sunday, and really no drama.
And I heard a lot of people were complaining about the coverage. It's not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into all that. But anyway, the Masters, it's over. It's done with. But today, we have an amazing head coach, our Fire baseball head coach, Adrian Dinkel. Welcome to the show, Coach.
I appreciate you.
Looking forward to talking about your amazing year. And it's unbelievable. You're 39-2 this year. What would you say the key to your success right now?
Oh, I mean, first of all, have good players.
Sure, yeah,
have good players. But at the end of the day, I think it's just expectational and intentional on what we do. I think everything we do is we expect to be great at every phase of our day, and we're intentional about doing that. And we have players that bought into that, and I have really good coaching staff that's working with me that has done a really good job on our day-to-day operation of making sure that what we're doing is lined up with what we want to do. It's like a giant puzzle piece, right? We got some kids in there that don't fit sometimes, and we kind of mold them into there, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you see our record is where it's at. Obviously, the 2 losses are my fault, but yeah, I got to wear those ones. But yeah, I think it's just having the right type of people and the right type of players and the right type of coaching staff. They've done a really good job.
Excellent.
Now, your program not only has this 39-2 record this year, you're 98-6 over the last 2 years, 175-16 over the last 4 with 2 national championships. That points to obviously a high level of coaching ability on your part, but it also points to a high level of passion. So as you think about your walk in this game and your life in this game, where'd that passion come from for this game?
Probably growing up, where I grew up. I was good at it, and it was the only thing, the sport that kept me out of trouble. And so it kind of came from there. You just stayed into it, and then I realized I was pretty good at it. Yeah. Family was pretty good at it, and then obviously devoting to others and just helping others become good at it became kind of the passion for it, right? I said it since I was little. When I played college baseball, I didn't play in the summer. I coached.
Yeah.
And so I always coached, but I just thought it was fun just investing into other people, and I think the passion came from honestly just being good at it and then figuring out I was good at making other people good at it.
Yeah, that's good. So the passion started with you as a player.
Yep.
And then as with many people, you start coaching at a young age, and it kind of caught fire, no pun intended. But that's great. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we've talked about your amazing success, and you've been incredible success. But from a coaching and professional standpoint in your career, what would you say on the journey has been some of your challenges as you've kind of headed towards that success?
Oh, I think the challenge, I joke with him all the time, the challenges are changing every year.
Sure.
I mean, being a chameleon changing every year, sometimes you got dumb players that you've got to adjust with, right? And you're just like, all right, man, I got to figure out a way to talk to this kid. And sometimes you've got arrogant kids that you got to figure it out. But I think the challenge is just changing yearly, right? Instead of being stubborn, saying this is my way, I think the challenge is looking at yourself in the mirror going, hey, I have to adjust, and I have to get my coaches to adjust, and I also got to get my players to adjust because, every year you have a whole different group. And my group I have this year is completely different than last year. The group I had last year was completely 10 years ago, and the group I have next year is going to be completely different. So it's just constantly evolving, constantly changing, I think, is always the challenge, right? And I think you want to find people that are built like you, but they're not like that anymore. Right, and so I think finding the way to adjust to it, that's always the biggest challenge.
Following up on that, what are some things you look for when you scout in terms of your players?
Well, right fit first, the right type of fit would be with what we're doing here at the institution. But secondly, I want to find tough kids.
Sure.
I mean, I think for me, we talked about this actually yesterday. We were talking about coaching staff. As I said, how many kids are actually truly tough? And when I say tough, I mean physically tough and mentally tough. And those are the kids that you're trying to find. Is can they handle the failures? Can they handle the success all the same way? And can they do it the right way? And those are the kids that we're continuing to look for. And obviously half the time, you're taking other people's word for it. And most of the time, your word is and what your thoughts are different than what they are. So you're really being intentional about finding those type of kids is finding, hey, I want kids that are hard-nosed kids that can do it the right way, that fit into our culture and fit into the mission of the institution.
Yeah, good.
Which are harder to find these days.
Really?
As far as tough-nosed physically and mentally, it's a real challenge.
Well, I think tough is different now than when I was a kid, or when you were a kid, or when you were a kid. I think tough is different. I think our tough is completely different. I think we just have to adjust to the fact that they're not going to be as tough as what we want them to be, and our thoughts, and we're not as tough to what they think either. So it's all changed.
We could probably do a whole show on that.
There's no doubt. That's my wife.
Well, Coach, tell us. Speaking of your wife, tell us a little bit about your family. Gidget and you have been here for almost 7 years. Cabe and Tinley are getting big. Every time I see Tinley, I'm like, she used to be like this big. What have they been up to?
Running my life. Yeah, running my life. So she's still bossing me around. I got in trouble this morning because I missed a phone call last night. So, no, they're good. Cabe's playing all sports, having a lot of fun. Tinley's just running around. Like I said, there's nothing like her. There's no human being like her on the planet. Fun one to be around. And the wife is still teaching and doing her thing, man. They run my life. Obviously, that's priority number one for me. So I'm around them all the time, and it's an awesome experience with those guys.
Good.
The team had a big weekend with a sweep of Kaiser, and games 1 and 2 were not close, but the team had to walk off game 3 after trailing multiple times in the game, and I think we have a clip of it right here, so let's show.
We do. Before we show it, I just want to set it up to talk about that game a little bit. You were down 6, 7-1. You cut it to 2, 7-5. They score 3 more runs. You go back down 5, and then you get it to 2 in the 9th. It was a real battle. Talk us through this clip. I mean, we get to the bottom of the 9th. There's runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out.
Yep.
All right, and then we're going to pick up the clip. Talk us through it.
Well, that starts early because nobody wanted to win the game, right? So it was who wants to win last? But the clip you're about to see here was the fact that we run into a situation where in the last couple innings we score quite a few runs, but that situation, you see he runs with the ball barely outside the circles because I got tired of watching the game, and I basically told him, hey, man,
there we go.
Any ball, get moving.
Yeah.
So you'll see here he kind of freezes up. Catcher doesn't realize he's coming.
Choice getting on first, Josh Pagozzo being thrown out at home. Already 2 runs being scored here. Bryant watching that one fall away. Game-winning run coming to the plate, and he's safe. Isaac Nunez with a walk-off wild pitch. He gets home in time.
You don't hear that many times. Walk-off. It was actually a pass ball, technically, but a walk-off pass ball. Very, very exciting. Very exciting part of the game.
Thank goodness we did that. I didn't want to watch much more of it.
Well, the team's record now, again, 39-2. Face off against St. Thomas at 3 and 7 on Friday, right?
Yep.
You're there at St. Thomas, and then the series finale will be at 1 p.m. on Saturday, right?
Correct.
What do you think?
Going to be a tough series. I think that's a super talented team. They played one of the best schedules in the country, so we better go down there and be ready to play.
What do they rank nationally?
They're actually not. They're receiving votes.
Not?
No. So they're they're sitting around 500. They probably played one of the best schedules in the country this year, and that hadn't fared well for them, but they're a super talented team. Okay. So we'll see how it works out for us,
Going to be a great weekend.
Yep.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you for joining us today. Look forward to following the team throughout the playoffs. It's going to be great.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Good luck this weekend.
All right. We need it. Thanks, guys.
Hey, have a word from our sponsor, Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Between work and to-do list, Publix knows your time is valuable. Let them help you regain time in your day by delivering groceries to your door. You can find out more about this opportunity at Publix.com/shop. Well, pretty impressive what baseball has been able to do these last few years, Drew.
Yeah, they've really been dominant, and to go wire to wire, ranked number 1 as they have this year, and for most of last year is very impressive. And it actually is tough to get games for Coach these days because he's trying to fill the schedule and nobody wants to come. They'll come play other teams in the area, but they won't come play us.
Yeah.
And so a lot of credit goes to Adrian and his coaching staff for doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, and they're down the home stretch. Conference, they're going to have to go through conference playoffs. Who's going to be the toughest competition? Kaiser?
Kaiser's sitting down there in 4th, in that 4th, 5th range. Ave Maria this year is having a good year. In fact, they're one of our 2 losses. They're sitting in 2nd place. And, Sun Conference Baseball, it's the best conference in the country. Yeah. And so, we routinely send 5 teams to the national tournament. Some years it would be fair to say we deserve 6. And so you really never know, who's going to be playing well when you hit that tournament. And just so happens the last few years we've been hot and we've won it. But we've got to stay sharp and stay focused because this is a very good conference.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's check out what's happening in all of our other spring sports. Let's talk about tennis. Our men's tennis team defeated NCAA it's number 10 ranked Rollins, right? And they defeated them 4-2 last week. That's a huge win. It was a big win for the team, who have now knocked off 2 highly Division II ranked teams and 6 ranked NAIA teams. Big weekend for both men's and women's as they head to Brunswick to face Coastal Georgia, then head to Savannah to take on the Bees. The SCAD women are ranked 9th, while the men are ranked 24th. Toughest match for the men this weekend will be Coastal Georgia, and they're ranked number 11.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of issues with weather up there this weekend. They're trying to, and they may move these matches from Friday, Saturday to Saturday, Sunday, just so we don't have to make 2 trips up there. But this team, both these teams are playing well, particularly the men. I mean, when you knock off number 10 ranked Division II team in Rollins, I mean, that's a huge win for this program. And, it's going to be very exciting to see what they can do in the Sun Conference playoffs, which come the last week of April here. They go up to Coastal Georgia to play that. So really excited about both teams and what they can do this year.
Yeah. Track and field. Our track and field had their USF South Florida and University of Miami Hurricane Invitationals, which spawned a total of 12 season best performers, 4 more national qualifiers, 3 NAI number 1 marks. I mean, the team continues to roll.
Yeah, I mean, they're preparing for the Outdoor Nationals, which are in Marion, Indiana this year. They moved that from Gulf Shores, Alabama, up to Marion. A little better weather up there at the end of May, but this team they are just poised to do something special here in outdoor track, both on the men's and women's side. The women are ranked 3rd in the latest rankings. The men are number 1. So it's really impressive.
Yeah, and just a reminder, they won the national championship in indoor track, right?
Yes.
So exciting to see what they're going to do. Softball, our softball team took 2 out of 3 games versus number 21 ranked Coastal Georgia. They're going to hit the field again in West Palm Beach at Kaiser, 3 p.m. on Friday for a single game, and then I think they're playing a doubleheader on Saturday at noon, and the second was at 2, right?
2 p.m. Yes, and that series against Coastal was for first place, because as we entered the series, we were in a dead tie at 1 loss each, and really, I mean, played very well in games 1 and 3. Game 2, we had a big lead and then just had a bad inning. Yeah. And we were up 4-0 in the 5th, and they dropped 5 runs on us, and that was the final score, 5-4. So, we really were one bad inning away from sweeping that series and taking command of the conference. We're now just 1 game up on Coastal with St. Thomas in 3rd, Kaiser's 4th. So this will be a good series this weekend to see if we can get it done on the road.
Yeah. All right, and let's turn to beach volleyball. Beach volleyball team advanced to the Sun Conference semifinals with wins against University of Mobile and William Carey last Friday. They did lose to Ave Maria 3-2, who eliminated them from the tournament. Team will be in Hickory Point facing AVCA Small College Nationals this weekend.
Yeah, so they're headed up. That's the Volleyball Coaches Association tournament.
Okay.
And so the team unfortunately did not make the NAI Invitational tournament that's on the Panhandle. But we've never been to the semifinals of beach, so it was a good finish for the team, and we're looking forward to what the future looks like.
That's great. Turn our attention to golf. Our men's golf team placed 9th at the Roadrunner Invitational. Both men's and women's teams will be in Lake Worth on the 23rd at the Fountains Club for the Sun Conference Championship matches.
Yeah, this year, as you just said, they're at the same location. Sometimes the coaches have to split duty, and it's just a pain. But they're both in Lake Worth at the Fountains Club. We're really looking forward. The women are the defending champs in golf, and the men. I think the men are poised to surprise some people next weekend.
And our men's football team already starting to practice and prepare. And the Fire football team has a spring game this Friday, 7 p.m. It's going to be on Victory Field.
Yes.
And for those who've not been to a spring game, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we call it a spring game, but it's really a spring scrimmage.
Okay.
The last few years, we really haven't had enough players to play a game. Our roster is healthy. We've got 90 players in school this semester, which is an all-time high in the 10 years we've had football. And so it's really a time for the parents to come out and watch. We've got some recruits coming. Our ticketing folks set up some season ticket packages for next year. So, it really is the culmination of the spring practice season. So the team's been practicing for a good 4 weeks now, and this is their culmination.
Yeah.
And so there's officials there, but it's more of a structured scrimmage than it is a game.
Yeah. Great. Well, that's about it with our spring teams. Everybody doing well and on a roll. Thanks to everyone for joining us for this week's episode of Fire Talk. Make sure you get out and support the baseball and softball teams this week. For all the latest news in Fire athletics, all you have to do is visit scufire.com. You can find the game schedules there as well as links to watch all of our home games, and you can watch them for free, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Go Fire.